This episode is brought to you by Mate Affiliates. If you're in the game for the long run, two things really matter: what you earn and who's in your corner. Big commissions are great, sure, but they don't mean much without support. Mate delivers both. Find an affiliate program that's serious about your growth and shows up when it counts. Find that out at mateaffiliates.com.
When you're building trust with your players, your partners feel it as well, and they see it in retention, and they see it in performance and the longevity of their effort converting and performing. And that's what makes partnerships sustainable as well as scalable.
You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, powered by Affiverse, ultimate destination for affiliate program news, insights, growth opportunities, partnerships, and affiliate program strategy. Whether you're an advertiser, publisher, platform partner, agency, or entrepreneur, we've got the tools, trends, thought leaders invited here to help you to thrive in the fast-changing digital economy. This season, we've been exploring how affiliate programs grow through the art of authentic strategic relationship building. And today we're unpacking the real foundations of building long-term, high-value partnerships in business. My guest this week is Gali Hartov, founder of WarriorLab.io, who brings decades of leadership negotiation and entrepreneurial experience to the table. With a career spanning executive roles, founding multiple ventures and navigating both the affiliate and operator sides, Gali offers rare insight into what makes partnerships thrive. In this episode, we're exploring why trust outweighs short-term gains, how to align partner goals for mutual success, and the importance of adapting strategies to shift to market realities. We also dive into the human side of business, from resilience during tough times to the role of shared values in creating sustainable growth. If you've ever wanted to build a behind-the-scenes look of how the industry leaders scale partnership programs without losing authenticity, this conversation is going to change the way you think about your affiliates and your business relationships. Welcome to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this week with me, your host, Leanne Johnston. And today I am super excited to invite another South African, you'll hear his accent in a minute, onto this podcast to talk about building successful partnerships and why retention is such an important component of that. Joining me today is Gali Hartov, the CEO and co-founder of Warrior Labs. Gali, it's a pleasure to have you on this podcast with me today. I'm super excited to get into retention in a little bit of a big way. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Leanne. I'm very excited to be here, very keen to be sharing these insights with your audience. And it's a brilliant topic, so I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay, let's get started. So I always ask my guests to introduce themselves to my audience just so they can understand a little bit about your background, how you got into the iGaming industry, and how you landed up being the CEO of Warrior Lab. So give us the short story.
So the short story is I got into the industry by mistake. Right place, right time. I just left university and I went to go play at a poker game one evening at this private poker club, and the owners were selling. They landed up in some money problems with the wrong people. And I saw an opportunity there. So myself and a business partner, we were 21 at the time, took a loan from our parents to buy over this private poker club that I always describe as like a mini Molly's game. Fast forward like a year and change, and I exited the company. And one of my VIP clients happened to be the director of a brand that I'm sure most are familiar with, which was Betway. Calls me up. He goes, Gali, get to this address at this time on this day. We need someone like you in the company. And that's how I landed up in online. I spent around 4 years building Betway's VIP operation for them. And I haven't looked back 13 years plus later when I founded Warrior Lab actually during the pandemic, building out a consultancy specializing in operational optimization with our niche focus in VIP retention and player development strategy. Yeah. So we were basically born out of a desire to elevate the way that VIP and retention strategies are approached within the iGaming industry. And for me, that's always been a massive passion point. Over the years, Warrior Labs in our 4th year now, we've grown into this globally recognized consultancy where we work with operators on a global footprint from US to Europe, Latin America, Asia. And we're seeing that in every market, there are pain points. In every operation, there are pain points. We're headquartered in beautiful Cape Town. There's no better place in the world, and it's my home city. The advantage of being in Cape Town is that we're close to the market, we're close to everything, we're centered. And it's really helped us to connect globally and expand what I see as a passion point to really shape the way that the industry and operators are doing what they do in the VIP space and the retention space and the partnership space. And so for me, what started out as obviously a passion, which was poker, turned into a career, led me into online gaming. And from there led me to start my own company a little under 4 years ago. And so here we are.
Okay. And going strong. So that's a great story about how you accidentally landed into the iGaming industry and working with VIP partners. And this season, we are exploring what it takes to build successful partnerships, because in the affiliate industry, partnerships is what drives this business forward. Like every single company especially in the iGaming space, which is what we're talking about this season, heavily rely on affiliates and the clients and the partnerships that they bring into their infrastructure. And the reason why I wanted to bring you on the podcast is because you do have a global viewpoint, and building partnerships with people is very hard, especially when you have to do that on a global level. And one of the first questions that I have for you is, you've worked with both large and established brands in smaller emerging markets as well. What's the fundamental difference that you see in how these businesses approach partnership building, whether they're a big brand or a small brand, and whether they're going into a kind of mature market or an immature market? What's some of the things that they get wrong when they're starting out?
I think that's a brilliant question. I think the biggest difference I see between large established brands and smaller emerging operators, it often comes down to mindset and structure. Larger brands usually have more defined processes. They've got clearer partner segmentation, and they've got dedicated teams focused on managing and nurturing those relationships. Their challenge, though, tends to lie in their agility. They're slower to adapt, and sometimes that personal touch gets lost in the layers of process and protocol. Whereas their smaller or emerging counterparts, on the other hand, they're often more flexible and more hands-on. What I find, especially even in our consulting, is that they're more willing to move fast. They're more open to trying out new things, and you form a more personal partnership. But where they typically fall short is in consistency and long-term thinking. So many go into partnerships with this transactional mindset, focused heavily on acquisition and immediate volume, without having the internal infrastructure or retention mechanics, as an example, in place to support long-term value. And that's often where Warrior Lab comes in, is how do you build those internal infrastructures to support those partnerships? And I think that's where a lot of companies, regardless of size, get it wrong from the start. They treat partnerships as a top of the funnel function, and they fail to align them with life cycle strategy. So you can't, 100%, you can't build meaningful, high performing partnerships if you don't have the operational backbone to support player retention, engagement, and ultimately LTV and that lifetime values. That's one big component. But now affiliates and partners, they want to know that the players that they're bringing in are going to be looked after, not just converted. At Warrior Lab, we've seen again and again how retention strategies and strong partner relationships, those two go hand in hand. When you're building trust with your players, your partners feel it as well, and they see it in retention, and they see it in performance and the longevity of their effort converting and performing. And that's what makes partnerships sustainable as well as scalable. It's not just about bringing players through the door. It's what do you do next?
Yeah, I think that's so true. We see people wanting to build the personal relationship, which is what I call the top of the funnel, the actually getting to know you stage, which every account manager is pretty good at. We're pretty good at engaging people and talking to people. I see it at conferences when we're on the showroom floor. There's account managers shaking hands with people and meeting people and taking people out for drinks at the bar afterwards. But we forget about that next phase, which is the systems, the process, the part that happens after the transactional. And it's quite interesting that you say that, because you're obviously thinking with your retention head, which is what you guys do at Warrior Lab, is retain and increase the value of clients. But I wonder how many affiliate managers listening to this actually have a retention program for their affiliate program. And that's actually something that I think we need to educate people on in this episode, is that you're like the life cycle that your brand or your operation has for a player coming into your program or into your platform to play the games and have those experiences with you and then remain long term, hopefully. You also need to be having that life cycle with your affiliate partners, because yes, you're going to meet them and you're going to make friends with them at an event, or you're going to talk about some business, but what happens after? So I want to dig into that a little bit. What is a good retention cycle? Can you maybe help affiliate managers listening to this just take some tips on what they could do in a very simple way to build a retention program for their affiliates? What would you suggest? Off the cuff and off list, but if you had to think about it, what would you recommend people think about?
I think first thing first is understanding where good players come from. Yeah. Often what we find in operator environments is people look at acquisition through a single lens, and it's not. The reality is you do have very good traffic sources that often should be prioritized over less valuable or poor acquisition sources. Yeah. And one of the strategies that we look at, if we look at, say, VIP programs that we utilize, is we try and reverse engineer the promotion and player development cycle that led that player into VIP by going all the way back to where they came from. So what content appealed to them? What channel converted them and brought them through the door? What did we do after the fact that supported that referral and actually got them to stay longer? Because something would have worked for that player to consolidate a portion of value and become a VIP. And it starts with the source, and it starts with where they came from and originated from, and what that source did to bring them to you. Now, having a website that just ranks operators, it could just be a lucky draw, and they just decided 3 is my lucky number, so I'm taking the 3rd ranked brand on this website. Yeah. And that might be the case. But something happens in between that onboarding phase and that conversion phase that can be attributed to the source. From a retention standpoint as well, and it comes down to a term that 2 years ago was a buzzword, but today's become very focused, and that's the concept of relevancy. Yeah. So are you, and this applies to affiliates as well, are you giving your players relevant content, relevant promotions, and targeted experiences that appeal to them as the individual account? Not mass marketing, not spraying and praying, purely targeted, relevant, actionable content that is going to see an upliftment in that player's activity and hopeful value. That's retention in a nutshell.
Yeah, I want to summarize that, because there's 2 very important things that you've mentioned here. To build a really good retention program for your affiliate program, you need to understand where your affiliates have come to you from, what event, what website they maybe found you on, where they were before they hit your affiliate page, your program page, all of that kind of information. I think most affiliate managers that I speak to don't even have tracking on their affiliate web pages to say, like, how did the affiliate find me? Where did they sign up from? So I think that's the first step, is go back to your BI analytics team, see if you can get a little bit of code in there in your Google Analytics and actually just track where are these people coming from, where they sign up organically to your program. Obviously, you know the ones that are coming to you from an event because you meet them physically, but also track those events. See what events are actually bringing you the quality of affiliates that you want to be bringing into your program, because that's another kind of myth-busting thing that happens in the iGaming space, is that more is more. More is never more. It's about the right partners that you're bringing into your program. And then the second thing that you spoke about there, which is understand the relevancy. And that's not the relevancy to you as the affiliate manager. It's the relevancy to the affiliate. What do they need in order to bring you the customers that you want? And I think we get stuck with, okay, we need to run a quarterly promotion. We're going to run like buy one, get one free, whatever it is. And we get stuck into this routine of just going, oh, we're going to run another promotion. But have you actually drilled down into your top partners and gone, what actually do your players like? What actually what actually motivates them to stay loyal? Because in doing that and in getting into the weeds of those data segments, which you can get from your affiliate tracking solutions, you're actually going to end up building promos that are better and increase your player value, which then increases your affiliates' life cycle in your program because you are retaining them for longer because they're earning more commission on revenue share. So in this business, I think it's crazy if you don't have a retention program for your affiliates, and possibly even start thinking about creating a VIP program for your affiliates and differentiating and bucketing the different types of affiliates that you have. So have you ever actually done something like this?
Not directly, but we've seen programs for affiliates that allow them to grow through tiers of performance.
Okay.
So what we have seen through certain like affiliate networks is you'll start out on, say, like a base tier, you'll have a set CPA or rev share cap. And then as you start performing, you're obviously moving through the ranks. But I think what is actually making waves at the moment in engaging audiences with relevancy, what we're seeing a lot more, and it's definitely gaining traction, yes, it is a bit costly, is programmatic marketing. And programmatic marketing, where you're actually targeting audiences where they are, when you need to target them, and you try and bypass the fluff, that is making a massive impact at the moment in getting the right exposure to the right audience with the content that they're looking for. And programmatic marketing, I really do believe, is going to be that next wave that is going to support growth, because it is becoming more relevant. And I think people are also looking for alternative options now, because SEO, especially with the Google updates and things that we're seeing there, it struggled heavily after that last Google update. And I think when we're looking at those alternatives, I would say programmatic marketing is a very good option. And we're even seeing companies now in iGaming emerging that are leveraging AI in that space. And it's very impactful.
I love that. As you're talking to me, I'm writing down the 5 tips that we're on tip number 5 already in this podcast about what to do to actually build a really good partnership. And I will summarize that at the end of this episode. But I want to get into the VIP mentality a little bit, because how do you differentiate your affiliate? How do you say this is a normal affiliate and this is a VIP? And I've heard you talk about what the VIP mentality is. So can you maybe talk to us a little bit about what the difference is, and how would you bucket your partners so that you can build those stronger relationships?
Absolutely. I think just before we even get into the affiliate relationship, when I talk about VIP mentality, I'm referring to a mindset that goes beyond spend or status. It's about understanding high value players' thinking, what motivates them, and how they define value. VIPs often see themselves as more than just customers. And because these are often business orientated individuals, they see it more like they're investors of both time and money. And as an exchange, they expect a return on that investment, whether it's in the form of recognition, priority access, tailored experiences, or just simply being understood. So it goes beyond just experience. So understanding this psychology, it's crucial because it shifts the entire approach. It's no longer about volume. It's about, again, relevance. So VIPs want to feel like they matter, and the operator then understands them as an individual, that the expectations extend to the entire player journey, from onboarding through to retention, reactivation, and even advocacy.
I knew you were going to dig into that, because my whole business is built on advocacy and the power that people can drive people, and that those leads are actually incredibly valuable because the advocate has already sold it in, and you don't have to work as hard in order to retain it. So I don't know if this happens in the iGaming space so much, but I know it happens in other industries. A lot of affiliates will refer other partners that they're friends with, or in business, or just colleagues with. If they're having a good experience with a brand, they will tell another affiliate, hey, you know what, this brand actually works quite well, it converts quite well, because they are like-minded entrepreneurs all trying to make money, and they want to help each other. They don't want to compete with each other. But I've been in the conversations. I've been at events where there's 5 affiliates sitting at a table with me, and one person will say, oh, I've worked with this brand. And another affiliate will go, no, they're horrible. I've never worked with them before. Those conversations happen, okay? You think 100%. They don't, but they do. And so building advocacy as part of your partnership strategy is actually a really clever idea, especially if you're a smaller brand that doesn't have big budget.
Absolutely. And it ties directly into that affiliate relationship factor. It mirrors the identical principles that VIPs want. Affiliates don't want to feel like they're just a source of traffic. You know, they also want to feel valued, supported, part of a longer term strategy. And just like VIPs, affiliates respond to transparency, to communication, and that sense of partnership. You know, what operators need to understand, much like VIP mentality, is that they're better equipped to build programs and campaigns that are going to drive that engagement when affiliates feel the same way as those players, that they're sticking around because they're receiving personalized attention. They are converted into being loyal advocates or users of that brand. And the partnership therefore becomes more attractive. Affiliates aren't just chasing commissions anymore. They want to feel that they're confident in this brand, because whatever they're sending into the funnel is going to be nurtured and it's not just treated statistically. So the psychology, I suppose, with everything that we've said so far, I mean, the psychology of high value players, it's a blueprint for exactly how we should treat high value partners. So why should it be different, you know?
Shouldn't. And actually, just because they're in two different lanes, like player acquisition is over here, partner acquisition is over here, but actually the principles should be exactly the same as you've explained them. Thanks again to our sponsor, Mate Affiliates. If you're sending traffic, there's really only one question: does it convert? Mate delivers industry-proven brands that come backed with lightning-fast platforms, great CRMs, and some serious player retention. That means more value from every click. Find them at mateaffiliates.com. One of the things that I'm interested in is, and digging into some of your experience now, because I know you've got a lot of experience in building and retaining very high value partners. And a question I often get asked, and this isn't on the, like we're going off script here, but like a question I often get asked is, do VIPs only just care about the money? Do I retain a VIP by retaining them with money?
No.
Okay, so give us your feel on that.
Absolutely not. You're not going to impress someone who has money with money. Like, that's the short
really
answer.
Cool. Yeah.
It's not impressive. And the reality is the only thing that you're going to do by throwing money at me as a VIP player is you're just going to buy temporary loyalty. The moment that your money pool and your loyalty fund dries up, I'm out. And it's not like there isn't a lot of choice for affiliates in the gaming industry. There's like 100%.
tens of thousands of brands that they can go and work with.
Well, if this relationship is purely transactional, the moment the next best option presents itself, I'm just going to go there, because the reality is you're not going to be able to sustain my loyalty without having to pay for it now that you've set the precedence.
I want to go into some details quickly. Can you share a story or a parable, or without giving names, but just where you came into a business and you increased revenue through partnership building and loyalty? Give me an example of a client that you've come in to consult with and how you developed that partnership and loyalty program and what the actual effect was. Because people will be sitting here listening to us going, theoretically this all sounds amazing, but in principle, has it ever actually been actioned? And I know that you've done this. So
definitely has been.
Let's give a little story, like a story time now. Give a real world example. You don't have to say the brand, but just give the instance.
I'll give you the most drastic case study that we've ever worked on in possibly my career. And it stemmed down to poorly defined definitions of what VIP was for this player. And I'll tell you the financial impact that led to partnership reinvestment in a sec. So we were working with a North American operator who had built a VIP program over the duration of 4 years.
Yes.
And we were brought in because bonus spend was out of control. The growth of their VIP program had plateaued. And they just weren't understanding why VIP wasn't generating more and more money. Now, when we joined, the first question we asked was, how many VIPs do you have? And the response that we got from the CMO who oversaw that program was 94,000.
I'm sorry, but if you have 94,000, you're minted. You don't need any help with that. But clearly there was a problem.
My response was, that's amazing. You must be making billions. And the three owners and the CMO at the table looked at me like, no, like VIP generates maybe 200 million a year. And I was like, look, it's still significant, but on that premise alone, you don't have 94,000 VIPs. So the CMO, who obviously is in charge of acquisition, retention, and VIP, looked notably upset because I've just challenged them. I've known him 10 minutes. And the owners basically said, go and audit this and tell us what you find. So we did. It was one of the most comprehensive audits we've ever done. And when we were finished with it, we went back to the company and we presented them with our findings. And the VIP program at that point had 3,500 true VIPs in that program. What we found was that bonus spend, because they were spending VIP incentives and retention offers on non-VIPs, it reduced roughly, I think it was around 60% after we reduced VIP. And the activity levels went from mid-30s to low 90% in terms of activity. What happened was, in addition to that, because they had built an operation to cater to and support 94,000 VIPs, there was a massive operational restructure because they had overstaffed significantly. So now we have more active players. And in addition to that, with this redefinition of VIP, before I go into the next point, we found 1,000 players that were neglected from being included in their VIP program. And that's 1,000 leads that came from affiliates that were not being actioned correctly, lost value or neglected or underdeveloped. So what we found now from this 94,000 VIP program, 3,500 were fine, 1,000 were missed, activity levels up, bonus spent down, operational overhead cut completely. We had this excessive amount of cash flow available. And that money went straight into reinvesting. So over the next 12 months, in scaling the VIP program and reinvesting into partnership networks and new sources, because now we had the budget available, VIP grew, I think it was around $80 million in the next 12 months, which was insane when you look at it proportionately. We effectively grew the program, 40%? That's 40% growth in 12 months just from realignment, redefinition, and reinvestment from newly unlocked cash flow that was being misappropriated.
And that's a very important piece of information, because often when I come in to fix affiliate programs, there's a database of 10,000 affiliates that are sitting there dormant, and they're only working with the top 50 and another 100 after that are doing 1 or 2 players a month. And to me, it makes sense. Spend time nurturing the partners that have already taken the time to sign up into your program, categorize them properly and understand them properly, and then work on whether you need net new. Whereas 100%. Everybody is all focusing on net new and not looking at what the gems are that are already in their programs or in their platforms. And a 40% uplift is significant if you can go and mine that from an existing database with less resource. That's a game changer for any business.
100%.
So that's really interesting. And I want to summarize the 7 steps that you've said in this episode already in terms of how to build a really successful partnership. The first one was take a transactional mindset away from building a partnership. It's not about the transaction. It's actually about the person, the human behind the business that's going to be driving those transactions. The second thing you said was make sure that you've got the processes in place to support the partnership, because it's all fine and well making the connection, shaking hands, signing that first deal. But what happens after that? What are the processes and the systems that you have in place to support that partnership ongoing? The third thing you said was understand the life cycle of that partnership. It's not always going to be pacing at the same pace. Sometimes it might be high, sometimes it might dip a little bit lower, it might come back again. You need to understand what that life cycle is going to be with that partner and traffic source that you're bringing in. Don't look at partnerships through a single lens. I think that's probably to date my best piece of advice that I've ever heard, because we do tend to put rose-tinted glasses on when we meet somebody and it's all exciting at the start. And then it might peter off for whatever reason. Things don't work as planned. So don't look at partnerships through a single lens. Like, try and actually make sure that you're understanding everything that's happening and also the peripheral views, not just what's right in front of you, because those things that happen in the peripheral view can also impact what's happening in front of you. The fourth point you said, or fifth point that you said, was take a programmatic approach to what you're doing. Actually figure out, where are these affiliates coming from? Where can you actually hit them when you're not at a physical event? How can you actually bring those people into your affiliate program and community, if you're building a community around your affiliate program, which I suggest you do? The sixth step that you've given us was adopt a VIP mentality and understand what that VIP mentality is, and really understand what each of your VIP affiliates gets driven by, because it's not money. It's not paying somebody money to make money because they already have money. It's finding those incremental things that build the rapport and actually keep them active. And the last thing, which I actually love, is, and that's 7 points that you've knocked out in under 30 minutes, is audit your program frequently. So your VIP partners may change over time. You could be missing 1,000 VIP partners that you could be leveraging because you haven't audited your program regularly and you haven't looked at what partners are sitting in your gold mine to actually take your program forward. I can't believe you just dropped 7 nuggets in under 30 minutes, to be honest. And each and every single one of those points was a really good point to take away and think about how to improve your partnerships with your affiliates, and not even just with affiliates. It could be partnerships with customers, it could be partnerships with agencies, it could be partnerships with anybody that you're trying to build a relationship with. But it starts with that initial connection and it ends with all of these other steps that you've outlined for everybody in today's episode. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you, what do you see are big trends that are happening in terms of building successful long-term partnerships, especially now as we're leading into the world of AI? Everybody's trying to understand how to leverage AI, how to use it. Do you think partnerships are still going to remain humanly based, or do you think that there's things that we can be doing to improve those partnerships after the initial human contact is made? And are you seeing any trends in automation processes or anything that are happening in that regard?
For the trend side, yes, there definitely have been these, I would say, seismic shifts. The several key trends in VIP and retention programs right now, I see it as quite exciting because they are delivering real measurable results. And I think with the inclusion of technology, it is helping us to optimize and develop things at scale. The way that I see these changes, first things first, we're seeing hyper-personalization now being weaned into how we engage. So operators are moving beyond just segmentation into those individualized experiences. And we highlighted programmatic marketing as one option. It does mean that we are dynamically adjusting the offers and communication styles that we have. We're now targeting our leads onto contact channels based on their behavior and preferences. And the technology is finally catching up to the point that ambition is meeting results and they're speaking for themselves. Higher engagement equals stronger loyalty, which means better lifetime value. What we're also seeing as a result of this are cross-functional retention strategies. So retention is no longer isolated into just, say, VIP and CRM. What we're seeing now is much closer alignment between affiliate teams, product, compliance, retention, and they're all working in a more, I would say, unified approach. At least most are, not all. And that does happen. And I think the industry has a long way to go to get to the point that the majority are in this area. But when everyone does have visibility over what is driving loyalty and player value, that's when the strategies become cohesive as opposed to isolated and siloed. So it's that holistic approach that's ensuring that there is that consistency in reward, consistency in experience, regardless of the entry point. Because now we have this collaborative approach that supports the funnel from the point of acquisition to long-term retention. With AI, what we're also seeing now are predictive and preventative retention. So we're using these predictive models that are leveraging behavioral attribution and behavioral analytics, where operators are now able to identify early signs of churn before players and leads disengage. So instead of reacting to inactivity as a reactive response, we're intervening proactively with these well-timed, relevant actions to prevent that drop off. So it's a particularly powerful way. It combines technological insights with strategy or VIP value to save those leads from basically just disappearing. And that's where we start getting that experience-led loyalty coming into play. We've shifted away from transactional loyalty, cashback, bonuses, to experiential rewards. So things like exclusive content or early access or tailored recommendations that resonate with people, that allow them to be seen and valued, not just paid. And that's what builds that, what I like to call emotional equity. And that's what's going to strengthen long-term retention, and it builds that bond beyond transaction. And that's that value driver.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be expensive to create emotional loyalty, to be honest, because if somebody's buying into a brand and they feel like they're part of a team and they feel like they're not just a supplier, sending them personalized merch actually has a really great impact. And you can track stuff like that in your affiliate program. You can track when the anniversary of an affiliate sign up happened. You can track when they've made their first $1,000 commission check. You can track all of these little incremental points, throw that into your CRM, plug in a supplier that does merchandise gifting or whatever, and you can create a really simple but effective program that adds personal human touch, but at scale.
I'll take it a step further. Instead of just sending merchandise to one of your partners, go out for a nice dinner, give it to them in person. Today's most successful retention programs and strategy really does combine strong data foundations with human touch and human insight. So, it's relevant, it's thoughtful, and it's built through that real emotional connection that always manifests long-term into better business dealings and better partnerships, always.
I want to make that the 8th point for this episode as we wrap up. Keep being human and make emotional connections. So, Gali, it's been very insightful talking to you about building successful partnerships in this industry, because you've got such a broad view of how to actually maintain and build both customer retention, but also player retention. And I want people listening to this to steal some of those ideas and try and implement them into your affiliate program in the same vein. Think of your affiliates as your customers and treat them accordingly. It's been a real pleasure to dig into your mind and to see how you think about things, and hopefully educate some of the affiliate managers and affiliates that are listening to this to pick the right partners and to build partnerships with operators that truly value them. So thanks so much for being on this podcast with me this week. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Leanne. I really enjoyed today's discussion. I love sharing these insights. This is a conversation topic that's right up my alley. And I think for me, it's something that we try and embody in Warrior Lab as well, to operate with integrity, with an ethical approach and that human approach. For me, this was a delight, and I really appreciated the invite. Thank you.
Looking to level up your affiliate program management skills? Join the Affiliate Manager Performance Program, or AMP as we call it, a 12-week mastermind for affiliate program managers. Whether you're a new affiliate account executive just joining the industry or an affiliate manager, the AMP Mastermind offers 12 weeks of insightful video tips, tactics, and strategies designed to help you elevate your affiliate program growth. From optimizing your outbound affiliate recruitment and program management tactics that have supported million-dollar programs to scale, you'll get inside access to resources, tools, tips, and cheat sheets that will help your affiliate program scale. Access on-demand tutorials each week, coupled with regular virtual Ask Me Anything sessions and a host of other practical resources. You'll fast-track your skills and learn with peers what works in affiliate program management and how to practically apply that to your program or industry. Head on over to affiversemedia.com/AMPP to join our AMP cohort today.